Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to the Glassman's world. So, I'm going to try to be a little bit quiet here. But today we are going to be working on remaking this balloon here. And it came out really nice last time, except if you can see, there's a skinnier part to the band, and that part's like super thick. And then it goes thin again, and then thick, then thick. So, I'm going to replicate this balloon here. And I wanted to thank I believe his name is Joel, I believe, and he's the owner of the RC balloon, and he's sending me a package coming out. So I think that's really cool. But let me show you what his balloon looks like. Give him a quick shout out. So that's him with his balloon there. And it's an RC balloon, meaning that it's a remote control balloon. So the remote control balloons, the RC balloons, are a pretty new, uh, huge addition to what's already amazing at the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, and just all of the different balloon festivals around the world, and all the different balloon rallies and events. RC balloons have become so popular that they're now creating their own events and having their own balloon glows and their own different uh, just different events. It's an amazing opportunity to go and see these balloons in person, and and it to own one, it costs so much less, and it's something that I really want to get into. So maybe in the next couple years, I will own my own RC balloon that we can go and take out and fly, and show you guys a good time with that. But like I said, I'm going to try to keep it quiet here. My whole family's still sleeping. We were supposed to have had some sort of crazy winter storm that comes through Albuquerque, and we got nothing. I mean, maybe the mountains got some snow, but they were saying that Albuquerque was going to get hit. And I was telling everyone, like, with the amount of aerosol canvassing that they do in the skies every day, that's not going to happen. They dissipate the moisture from the clouds, and they remove the precipitation, so we don't get the rain and the snow that we once did back in the 80s and the 90s. So it's a manufactured drought like conditions, but then in other areas they manufacture these horrific flood conditions. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I always wonder how that kind of stuff is going to affect hot air ballooning. I always am concerned about the different particulates that are up in the sky and things like that. When you have a hot air balloon up in the sky with a open flame, you really want to know that there's nothing flammable up there, right? And they don't really disclose the information saying what they're doing. But either way, the snow didn't come through as I predicted. So right now I'm gonna make this balloon here. But the thing is I first want to be 100% sure that this color here is black and not a turbo cobalt. I don't want it to come out blue. So I got to make sure this is black, because if it's not, then I'm going to have to go searching for some black and make sure that I even have black to make this. So we're just going to pull a little short stringer here, real quick stringer. We're going to melt the tip of this, get it molten. We're going to push the stringer in just to see when you push a mushroom inside the color glass, and you'll be able to see the different types of colors that each color may generate. If it's a turbo cobalt, you'll be able to see some of that blue once you thin it out and push it in. So we're simply just going to do that. Oh, let me get on this side right here. Sorry, I was on the wrong side of the phone. I'm always thinking that the camera's on this end, but I put the microphone to this end so I can kind of whisper. Alright, so we're just going to make a quick mushroom real fast. Now the thing is, I only have that much black. And I only have this much of the orange left. Which I believe that's what I used. I don't know though, because I'm thinking it could have been this color here. And if it was this color, then I don't know if I have enough to make it. So I'm really hoping it's this other color. They look so similar. And maybe this is the exact same color. Just one was used up and one has the label on it. So this is lava. Hopefully this is also lava, because I'm going to be using lava for this one. So this is the second attempt, simply because of, like I was saying, it's thinner on this side compared to that side. And I don't know what happened there. So I'm just gonna do my best to make a better one here. And I could have just pushed this in and then just let it cool down to see, but I don't want to waste the glass and the color, so I figured might as well just make this a quick mushroom real fast. So we'll do a little mushroom demo here. Push the color stringer in, melt the air bubble out, round the bottom, attach it to a puntee. Let's make sure the puntee is all cleaned up on the tip. Get rid of any of the color that's there, so it's all clear glass. Attach your puntee. Make sure that's nice and straight and centered with the other, the bigger rod. And then we'll cut it off and pull a loop and finish up the pendant here. So this can be used for a necklace. You can also use these on key rings, just little charms to hang in your windows, on your rear view mirror in your cars. You can put it on a bracelet. They can be used as zipper pulls, also for lamp light pulls. So you don't have to use them as just necklaces. You know, this year I should probably actually make some zipper pulls and some light pulls, because people don't think about utilizing these in that way. And also keychains. Now keychains are a little bit rough because, you know, he's going to be banging up against your keys and stuff, and eventually it could break because it's glass. So you do want to be careful with that. But I do make my loops really strong, nice and thick, and so they might be able to withstand the banging of the keys. I'm looking outside right now and I see the winds blowing the trees around. We've got some cloudy white skies. There's no snow, there's no moisture. I think if we had any precipitation right now, it would snow. I think it's cold enough outside right now that it looks cold. It looks like it's freezing out there. I was supposed to be doing some, well, I was going to say yard work, but I was actually going to be helping my friend where I normally help doing yard work, and we built the front yard into a nice little garden, a front yard garden now, with the largest tomato plant, the one I've been showing you guys on my channel here. And I was just gonna go over there and clean out the gutters, the rain gutters up on the roof. All right, there's a quick mushroom just to see if it's black. We're gonna have to let this cool down. And hopefully it's black and it doesn't show any signs of blue. Because if so, then we can get started. Now, before we get started, I'm gonna actually puntee these up. And what I mean by that is I'm gonna just attach them to a rod to make them a little bit longer, so they're a little bit easier to use. I'll just get the little scoring thing here and snap this just like that. And now I got two pieces of glass that are fairly the same length there, and we'll attach the colors to the tips here, to the ends. Yeah, and like I said, hopefully that is going to be black, and then we can get started. Now before we do so, I'm going to get rid of this this label here, so I will no longer know that this is lava. But we need to get rid of it. So a lot of times they'll peel off pretty easily. You just got to be real gentle with it. And I'm taking my time peeling it off, making sure I'm getting all that paper, all the sticky off. So that's came off nice and clean. But it's still got that sticky, so I just use my fingers and just rub it on like that. And then once I can feel all that stickiness is off, then I can get my my Norwex OptiCloth usually, which I don't have here because my other torch is still in the car ever since I've been doing demos, ever since I took it away. Alright, so we're just going to attach this to this here. We're going to get the lava ready. Now, I don't know if I made the hot air balloon with this new torch that I have here. I don't remember. I don't know if I've done too many hot air balloons with this torch, or if I've done any at all, now that I come to think about it. Alright, and just make sure that's nice and straight. It's still moving a little bit, so I can make sure that that's nice and straight like that. And then you just spin it, and you can see how that's on axis there. Yeah, that looks nice and black to me. All right, so we're good to go on that color there. We know that's black. All right, we got our lava. We're gonna attach this, and I don't know if it's twilight, onyx. I have no idea. All right, and just make sure that's nice and attached. Nice and straight. All right, and I got another one all puntied up. All right, and maybe I should bring this video up in case I get anyone in here watching and commenting. All right. I had to make sure I had the kiln on there. I realized it wasn't on. I'm like, uh-oh. It didn't even turn on when I switched it. I guess the soak switch was off. So, um, I guess I need to get some rod now. Okay, so I am down to my last 4 rods, guys. Now, I've got a new marketing promotion going right now, which is an investment opportunity for any of my followers, supporters, any of my friends, family members, anyone who wants to help me in this venture here of glass blowing. I've never really thought about that. Like, I was like, I did joint venture capital marketing for a couple different companies and helping them out with their email campaigns and things like that, sideways sales and all that, and getting their joint venture partners going, right? And I never even thought about this. I'm like, I could use some capital, and that's one good way to gain some capital. So what if I can figure out how to guarantee people, if they invest, and I'm talking small, I don't want to do anything big because I don't want to like get too deep in. before I know that I can pull this off and make this happen. So I'm simply asking a small $20, and I'm thinking per month, $20 per month investment that I guarantee by the next month that I should be able to get you double and pay you back 40 simply by investing in glass, where I purchase the glass at wholesale or at a lower cost, at the raw material cost, and then turn it into items. And so I'm going to do a video here soon on how I can turn one of these rods of glass. I just cut it in half, but as you can see, it's about 2.5 feet long. I don't know if you can see the whole length of it there, but it's a good like 2.5 feet long. And that's for half of it, right? So I think they come in like I think they're 5 foot actually, these ones here. And for every rod that I get, I believe I get these rods when I purchase them in bulk by the case, they're less than $10. But I'm just calling it like they're basically roughly about $10 each. And then each color stick, which would be, something like this here, right? So you have the whole entire color stick right here, and that's about the length of it. Like the color stick, if this is 24 or longer, if this is 2 feet, 2.5 feet, this is at like 18 inches. You know what I'm thinking? I don't really like the length of this rod here. It's kind of long for working on a detailed piece. I might actually shorten the other rod over here. But what I was saying is that I can take this 5 foot rod here, clear rod, and get a stick of color, which is roughly about $10. They do it all by the weight, by pound. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut this one in half now, and then I just have a shorter one to work with. Now this will leave me with 2 more extra ends, so I'll have 3 ends for this one rod instead of two remaining ends. But I do try to use up all the ends as well. So with each one of these 5 foot rods, they're 16 millimeters long. I believe I can turn out about 75 of my my simple $5 mushroom necklaces, my pendants, the one that I just made right now. And I can make those in about 3 minutes. So we're going to see how long it takes for me to crank out as many of those as I possibly can. It might take a full day. It might take 3 to 6 hours to finish up an entire rod, a 16 millimeter rod, and see how far that color glass stick goes. So I'm just going to work with one color and one full rod, and then we'll see exactly how many of these mushrooms I'm making off of each rod these days. I know I used to be able to make about 75 years ago, but I was also working on a smaller rod on 12.75. So do I get more out of them, or are my mushrooms just bigger these days? So we're going to figure out how I can turn $20 of glass into 75 pendants that I sell for basically at wholesale $2. So the lowest would be $150 return on that 20 bucks, and as much as 375 if my math is correct in my head right now and from what I remember. So between $150 to $375, I can turn 20 bucks into that. So from that 150 to 375 that I make, I can easily give you back $20 from your support and from investing in my glass. Or you can simply just purchase $20 in glass every month if you'd like to support me. And so that way, what I'm trying to do is get hopefully 10 people at only $20 right away, and get myself a case of glass. Now I may have to get 30 people. I don't know if the cases of glasses went up. I believe I used to get it for about 200, 237 maybe. It could have gone up throughout all of with everything that's been going on, and just recently learning about mountain art glass studios, that they are shutting down. They're going out of business, and a lot of the glass supply is going to not be obtainable through them anymore. And that's really sad. So I don't know if that means that glass prices will go up at that point, or how things are going to work. It's going to be kind of interesting. All right, you guys. So I only have one chance, one opportunity to make this right before, I got to just go get more supplies soon. And so that's part of this whole investment opportunity, is joining me as a partner in Gardenia Glass, and just helping me to obtain new supplies, and being able to obtain just different business goals that I'd like to reach. One of those would be getting a glass studio going. Having a local studio where I could work out from, and be able to offer glass blowing lessons, workshops, demonstrations, and have a place that you could come and get your glass balloons. You can order any custom glass that you would like. Man, I really hope I can stretch this black all the way around. I really hope I can make this reach all the way around. I don't know. This is going quick. I'm just trying to encase this whole thing right now. Just layer this glass side by side. And fill up this whole entire rod here. And make it all solid black. Like I said, I only get one opportunity, and hopefully I got enough color to stretch this around here. Which I am a little scared here right now that we might not have enough. It is getting close. Okay, I think we might be making it around. This is crazy. I gotta make sure I leave a little bit left over for the skirt or any other detail I may have to like fill in or whatever. Oh my gosh. Right there at the end. And then you can see this side is a lot shorter than that side, so I'm gonna have to pull that glass down some. That barely made it around, guys. It's got one little tiny section right here, right in between. I just have to come back around and draw the rest of it down a little bit further. Trying to use the existing glass on there, just melting that so I can use this black to pull it down to about that same length. Oh my gosh, I just heard the cats drop a plate or something. I don't know if you guys heard that in the background. Alright, we got this whole thing covered in black now, guys. And I think this is maybe going to be a little bit bigger. Or at least it could be. It doesn't need to be, though. I like the size that it's at. Just got to make sure the top is all cleaned up. And we'll just bring all the black together, just terminate it all together into one point, making sure there's no clear glass showing up on top. So the difference on how I'm doing it this time compared to last time was, last time I made the top section black, left it blank, and then put a bottom section black. And so when I had that blank part, I think by doing it like that, it allowed for like a different like thickness and thinness, and for that orange to just get a little bit too wide in one part. So I think by just covering it all in black like this, and then I can just do a nice simple band, nice solid band of orange wrapped around it, it should come out perfect. At least that's my hope and my goal this time. Still don't see any snow outside, guys. The clouds are still above us. It's overcast, cloudy skies. It looks like we should be getting a storm. Looks like snow clouds, but they're not dropping. I don't think we have enough precipitation in the clouds anymore. I think they just evaporated out. Alright, we're plugged in, right? I do believe we're plugged in. I do believe we have all the live chat going. And let me get the video up here just in case anyone chats here. But yeah, I think we're all charging, right? Yeah, and we're at 92%, so we should have enough battery here. Wind's still blowing outside a little bit. From time to time we get some gusts here and there. I'm waiting for that snowstorm. They've been talking about a snowstorm coming in for the last 2 days. And then yesterday I'm watching the news. Meteorologist is in a car chasing the snow in the East Mountains. He drove behind the mountains to try to find where the snow was falling. Even though he just had predicted that it was gonna, or he forecasted that Albuquerque was gonna get all kinds of snow. I thought that was funny. And he's like chasing the snow. He was in the vehicle again this morning, and I think he was probably out there in the East Mountains, but I'm not 100% sure. I didn't stick around to see. I just thought it was funny again. I'm like, oh, here he goes again, chasing the snow. And then I came back here, turned the TV off, like, all right, whatever. So I want to apologize for taking too long on this one here. I know you've been waiting for it, and so many others are waiting for me to get to their glass balloons as well. I will get to them. I would like to get to them. I don't know anyone else in the world who makes these, so please bear with me as I make sure I get all the proper colors for your balloon. You know, you may have sent out a request and I haven't been able to tell you yes, I can make it or not yet, because if I don't have the colors, then I can't make it yet. But I may have just left the message lingering because I'm hoping that I can get these colors soon and I can start working on your balloon. And I can at least let you know if I can even obtain those colors for your balloon specifically. There's some colors that just aren't obtainable. There's a lot of colors like pinks that are hard to come by, purples. But these days, I guess we have a better selection of pinks and purples to choose from. I remember back in the day, I'd get some pinks and they would just turn white on me. And maybe I was burning them too hot. Maybe my pre-mixed torch was burning them too hot. I see there's lines of clear trying to come through, but with this all being solid black, there shouldn't be any way for that to make any kind of a bad situation. I don't think I need to go over those lines with another little tiny piece of black. I think they're okay. Oh yeah. I always forget. I got the marving pad right here. I still do my old school way of picking up the paddle and flattening everything. It's what I'm used to. Alright. I'm still debating. It's only 8 o'clock right now. And I'm still debating if I want to go out and actually try to do that job cleaning the gutters, even though it's cold. I'm like, whatever, I can bundle up. I wear gloves. I can put on a beanie, cover my ears. I used to live off grid where I had to deal with the elements. Like we couldn't just stop building or stop collecting water, or you know, we couldn't just stop because the weather was snowing or getting too cold or whatever. Like, no matter what, work had to get done. When you lived off grid, it did not matter if there was snow outside, if it was raining or anything. People in the city, bunch of city slickers, the whole city will stop just because we get a little drizzle of rain. As soon as it starts to like get windy too, sometimes, I don't know, it's weird. Like the windstorms will come in, and next thing you know, you just start hearing sirens everywhere. It's like, what? Like people getting into accidents? What's going on? I can understand in the rain with more car accidents. All right, I'm just gonna help this tip just round out a little bit here. I was watching Lewis Wilson the other day. He was saying he was making the butt of a horse, and he was saying that he likes to use the marble marber to round it. And I'm thinking, well, I got this cool little wobbly paddle technique. And I could probably do that too. But I'm sure the marble marber is a lot more rounder. Wow, there's some thick glass right there. I'm gonna see if I can force it over. I'm gonna get this thick piece of black, get it molten, and then force it over itself a little bit. Try to thin it out some. So it's Friday, January what? Is it the 8th? What is today? Is it the 9th already? Wow. January 9th, huh? 1926. 1 and 9 is 10. 2 and a 6 makes 18. 1 and a 8 makes 9. The day of completion. I can't believe it's already the 9th. It's been 9 days of the new year, guys. And this is only the second video, I think, that I've done of live glassblowing. So I don't know if I'm going to do it today. If I don't do the gutter job, or if I wait till like it warms up. The kids aren't in school today. I don't have to rush to like leave any job. I could do it later when it warms up, if it warms up. But maybe what I'll do is I'll sit here all day and I'll work on seeing how many of the mushroom pendants, the original $5 mushroom pendants. If you go to facebook.com, you'll find them. The original $5 mushroom pendant. I don't know how I wrote it. The OG mushroom. Maybe I put it the OG mushroom. The OG glass mushroom. But either way, whatever it is, I make them for $5. I think I can make about 75 of them per rod. So I think I can come up with, at minimum, 150 wholesale for the 75, because that's $2 each. Usually I sell them at 50 for $100. So if anyone's interested in purchasing this glass and reselling them in your state, I can ship them out to you from here, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. If you want to make money, just, and go and find some bead stores, some bead supplies, maybe even just like, a glass shop, a local like smoke shop or something like that, and see if they want to get some mushrooms and be like, hey, I can get these for you. I can get these to you at $3, and then you get them at 2, and you make $1 off of each one. That's a simple way to make some money, guys. Not much, but I mean, if you can push them out there, then you can really make a lot of money doing that. And I pretty much sell out on these all the time, guys. Anytime that I make the batches of like 50 and 100 mushrooms, they're sold right away. So that's what I'm thinking, is I can easily turn these mushrooms monthly, and if I get some more accounts in the states, in different states, then yeah, definitely I can just start pushing them out. Maybe every day I just got to work on getting one new account and sending them out 50 mushrooms for $100. That's without the cord. If you want the cord, it's $150. Then you're basically paying $1 per cord. But there's a lot of bead supplies, bead store places that don't want the cords. They want to just have the free, they want the loose glass, you know? So that way they can sell their beads and their pendants and their loose glass to their jewelers, those that they supply to. All right, so this black is now all sunk in, and now I'm working on rounding it and getting that unique balloon shape, kind of. But at the same time, I don't want to like overdo it too much. Well, I got to get that orange on there now. And now I have to decide, am I going to go round and lay it on? Or am I going to flatten the rod first and then lay it? Which I'm thinking maybe that's what I'll do, so I can keep it nice and controlled with the thickness. I think I hear someone awake. Could be my daughter. All right, so now you can see all that black's been nice and rounded down. And now I can start working on that orange. Maybe I should work on just the edge right here, just so we don't have any sort of cracking. I'll make sure that that's sunk in right along the clear and the color right there. Just make sure we don't have any issues. And just sink it all in. All right, so now we got the basic shaping before having to like fully balloon it out, which normally I just melt it in the center, squeeze it down, like kind of push it on the top so it squeezes itself in, creates that ballooning, the balloon shape, make it more global. But we got to get that orange on first, and I'm wondering, do I just draw this on, make a nice straight line? Or do I flatten this first? I think what I'd like to do is flatten it. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to put this down real quick. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this and stretch it. So now we got it all nice and flat like that. And keep this nice and warm still at the same time. And bring the heat back into this one real quick. That way we don't have any cracking issues. Alright, so now that's nice and warm. I can set that back down for a moment. We're going to get back into here. We're going to get this molten and stretch it out. We're going to have to keep it the same thickness and make it long enough to where it's going to wrap around that whole entire rod of black that we just created. Alright, so we're going to get this nice and molten all the way through the whole thing. Trying to keep it flat, so we're not trying to twist it or anything. Get the heat more in the thicker spot. Alright, here you go. And just grab it. Alright, that's a nice pull. It's a little thick up top right here, so we just heat that up and pull that a little bit more. And then we'll just pull off the little tip here, little excess. Get this prepared. Just gonna flatten it right here. And bam, that's now ready. Let's get this back in the flame so we don't have any crackage. I don't want it to get too cold and crack on us or anything. We bring it back in the flame here, and that is ready to be wrapped around. That should go all the way around it. And that should be a nice, clean line all the way through. Seems like it's still a little bit thick towards the tip. A little wider, I guess. Alright, and once again we're replicating this one here. Let me just put it right here, I guess. This is the one that we're replicating. So it's a black and an orange stripe. It's an RC balloon. Alright, my drawing hand is my right hand. And we just want to make sure that we wrap this perfectly right about there. And then just wrap it around. Alright, and I just got to keep this line on nice and straight. So when I come back around on the other side, we match up. And we'll just make sure that that is connected. Yeah, now that should be a lot better. And it's still hard to get it perfect, but I'm gonna make sure it's nice and straight. And I just gotta clean up where all those lines came together. Just make sure that that part is working right. So I might just have to stretch some glass over. Bring it from this thicker spot here. Trying to get that color to just line up just right. I'm hoping that it still doesn't come out thick in some spots and thin in the others. It's just a hard thing to do, to try to get this perfect. And I'm such a perfectionist. But if it is, what I need to just do is make sure that there's a nice straight line on the front, so when I hang the pendant and I put the loop on it, it hangs properly, you know? Oh, maybe I should have told Joel that I was working on it. The owner of the balloon here, I should probably send this. Let me share this out real quick. Good morning. See someone's watching here. All right, so let me copy this. Go back over to Facebook here. All right, there it goes. Just sent it to him. Hopefully he gets in and able to watch this as it's being made. Yeah, I can see right there. That part's going to give me problems. Alright, then we're just going to work this band down and hopefully we'll get it all to that same thickness. I really hope so. It should look better than the other one at least. A little bit more smoother. There's a couple little thick spots that I'm a little concerned about. Alright, I gotta push it down one way and then push it back the other way. Keep it nice and lined up. So this is what I'm working with right there, that band of color. Trying to get that perfectly straight and the same thickness going all the way around it. I'm glad that I did flatten it first. That did make it a lot easier to lay it down like that. So this balloon, once again, is the name of the balloon is Woolley. Woolley. It's an RC, remote control balloon. I don't believe he's local. No, he's actually shipping me some gifts from out of state, which is awesome. I love to receive gifts. And some of those gifts are, he's sending me balloon items. I believe I'm getting some balloon cards. And I believe he has balloon pins that he's sending me as well, which is awesome. So I'll be able to get, you know, like, they have the balloon cards like these here. So he's going to send me his balloon card of Woolley. And then the balloon pins. Like this one is for Dawn Patrol with all our balloons on it. And he's going to, I think he's got pins that he's going to send me as well. So those should be coming soon. Hopefully, maybe today. We'll see. Okay, I think that's about as flat and straight as I can get this thing. I can't do much better than that. Alright, so we're just going to sink it in now. It's looking nice. It's looking really good. You can see. It's a lot better than that last time when it was a super thick band and then a thin band. So you can see right here, thin band, and you come to this side, super thick, right? And then thin, then super thick. And we don't have that going on here. It's just pretty much that same thickness and consistency all the way around. So I believe I got it. I believe I pulled it off. I hope. So this is officially the first glass balloon of 2026. So Woolley is official as the first glass balloon 2026. And the last glass balloon of 2025. I don't know if I made any others. I don't think so. All right, it's almost sunk in. This is the long part, is waiting for the glass to, the torch to heat it up enough, and for the glass to just all sink into itself. Let it all just do its job. So I got to be patient here. And then I am not sure. Last time I went through and did the whole coating it with clear glass, which moved some of the lines. I'm thinking maybe not coat it at all. It probably looks fine. And I can probably put indentions with my knife to create the gorge for the balloon. Getting there. Oh my gosh, I hear these cats just running amok. I don't know what they dropped earlier, but I heard a plate fall. I don't know if I'm going to be walking into a bunch of broken glass in the kitchen or what. It's crazy cats. I don't know if you guys got some crazy cats or dogs, but in the morning time, they always seem to have to run back and forth and run back and forth and chase each other and get whatever energy out that they got in the mornings. Like, I don't know what it is about these animals, but they run amok in the morning. And they drop stuff and make messes. So we'll see what I got to clean up here in a moment. Almost done with Woolley. Been an hour. And this is the second attempt. So I've worked on this twice now. And I'll be getting paid. I ask $40 for the replicas, guys. So anytime I make one of these, it's $40. That last one I wasn't happy with, so he actually asked if I would send it as a discount. I'm like, yeah, I'll discount you the price so you can have both of them. I don't need to keep both. You know, I don't really need to start a collection of my own glass balloons. I mean, except, of course, I'm keeping the 13 original balloons from 1972. There might be some other special ones that I may keep. And, of course, I always got to keep Polar Dawn in any balloons that our pilot flies. All right, so now we're getting to the balloon making portion. And I'm also thinking now, well, if I don't add the clear glass on top of here, it's not going to be as big as that first one. That's the other thing. So I may have to actually make clear glass gourds on top of it, which is not a big deal at all. It's just with the RC balloons, or some of the RC balloons, they really don't have much of their gores showing. There's only a few of them that they really like make the gores like really stand out. The other thing too is that it is at a decent size where it's pretty much the normal size as a regular balloon that I make. It's like right on that verge. I can either add a little bit of clear and it might get too big. Alright, let's get that balloon shaping in here. I gotta always make sure that top isn't molten at all before I start pushing it down. I don't want to flatten the top. Wow, I could barely see that band on top of the black now. They're both glowing that really nice orange or red hot there. And they almost look identical, but I can see the line a little bit there. Alright, I'm going to try to just balloon it out just a little bit more here. So now, as you can see, it's more global shaped or roundish. I think that's a good size, actually. We may just keep it as such and just put the gores in. Okay. I think so. I think we'll just add the gores in. And let's just make sure. Get it back to a nice molten state here so we can get all those colors all fluid again. So basically just fire polishing it right now. Getting it all nice and cleaned up. Just getting rid of any like tooling marks from pushing it down and rounding it out and things like that. And then we'll get the what is this, 5 millimeter, I think. And we're just going to start on one side. And we don't want to move any of that color glass underneath it, so we got to keep that solid without moving anything. Put one on the opposite side here. And then in between those, in between those, and then I'm going to do 2 lines in between those. I was thinking 3. We got enough clear. I don't want to make it too big. So we're just going to go 2 in between each one of those spaces there. So then it looks like that. And we just got to go in between all these spaces here and add in 2 lines on each one, and that becomes the balloon. Just got to make sure you leave plenty of space and keep it equally distanced to really make it look good, or at least try to make it consistent, right? Making sure not to overheat the under layer where the color is. I don't want to move any of the color. I don't want to rake it, move it with any of this clear glass that I'm adding onto it. Just want to put it directly on top and not move what's underneath. How many different ways can I say that? I want to encase it. Just kidding. Beat that horse, right? Let's make sure everyone knows what I'm talking about, even if you don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so we got all of those, the rakes or the lines wrapped around. So now that's a beautiful balloon shape there. You can see that orange kind of pushing out, coming through on top of that black there. So now we simply just got to melt this down. Make sure, like, I don't know if you see like the little bumps on top right there, but there's some parts there, so we got to make sure those are nicely rounded down and everything. You don't have lumps in the balloons, except for if they're special shape ones. You meant to do that. So we simply just heat up the top, and then we just bring our paddle kind of in an upward motion, kind of curving it up and around and helping to guide those into place. Hopefully the kiln is all ready to go, because we are almost done here. And just round that up some more, make sure that's nice. It's looking pretty good. There's one little spot that I'm not liking. So just round that out just a little bit more. Like I said, I'm a perfectionist and probably isn't anything to even worry about, but I see it and I want to get rid of that. So I'm going to make sure we don't flatten that out. So we're going to go around it like that. Bam. Golden. That looks really nice now. So now we got that top right there. And it's glowing orange because it's hot, not because that's where all the color is. There's only a little color band, and then everything is black on the bottom, black on top. So now we get the rod we were just using for making the gores on the balloon, and we're going to utilize this for the loop on top. So I want to find a spot that I like the front, and like right there. I'm going to just go directly in the center of those ones, line up that gore. I always put it off, not centered, but off a little bit, and then that way I can bring it around to the back, and the loop is in the center, not where the attachment is. And I bring that directly behind itself, like that. And then we just sink it all in, use the torch. I look at it, I spin it around, I see if this actually went straight back, and I think it's actually a little bit to the side this way. So as I melt it, I'm going to push it over just a little bit. We're just going to force it over. Just push it over some like that. And then I'm going to melt it down to make sure that's nice and attached, like I did on the front. Make sure the loop doesn't close up on me. Make sure it's attached still. Go back to that back side, which also helps to thicken up all of it there. Go back in. Now it looks a little bit crooked there, but what we're going to do is we're going to heat up the whole thing and round out the whole thing all at once. So you heat up the whole loop from the front to the back. Put this reamer in the center there and get that hole to open up for you. And just like that. And then what I'm going to do is melt it down just a little bit to thicken it up, to make it, just strengthen it some. Put that in one more time and just make sure that loop is big enough. Then we get our puntee. Make sure our puntee is nice and clean. So anytime you put it in the flame, you'll be able to see if there's any kind of like dirt, dust, debris left over color glass. It'll shine brighter. You'll see it glow that red hot. So you just get rid of it. So then you don't see that anymore. We're going to attach it to the loop on top right there. That's going to break off when we're ready for it to break off. Bring the flame to the bottom, and we're going to do a really nice taper down here, pulling it all, getting the clear glass off, getting the balloon off of the rod, basically removing the clear glass from the rest of it. And as I do so, I'm going to be pulling it. So I'm pulling the bottom portion of the balloon to taper it down. And then we'll add a little clear dot on the bottom if we need to. This might have enough clear that I can use it. And then we'll add some color for the gondola or the basket. So as you can see, these take at least an hour long, usually for these custom balloons. So I'm not asking too much for them. A lot of people are saying I should ask more, at like close to $100 each, because they are a one-of-a-kind, unique piece of art glass. And eventually I may get up to that point. So right now is your opportunity to get them for only $40 for the replicas. And then the basic ones I sell all day for 20 bucks. And I wholesale those if you're interested in selling. If you have balloon rallies, balloon events in your area, and you'd like to carry some of the basic balloons that I make, like these ones here, or the ones in the back over here with the vertical stripes, I can get those to you at wholesale. Just contact me, we'll talk about it, and we'll get you set up. Okay, so now the real trick is, like, it looks like it's a balloon shape, right? But my color is right here. That's the bottom. I need to pull all that down and taper it like it's tapered. So I have to heat up like a whole half of the balloon, the bottom portion of it. So as I'm pulling that clear glass, it'll help to pull the rest of the balloon with it as well. And if I can keep that line straight, then we won't have to add any more black to the bottom for the skirt or the scoop. So I got to heat up above where the black is and try not to mess up the shaping of the whole thing, and also not heat up too much, so I don't want to lose the roundness of it all. So at this point, this is a lot of just little technical work here. So we'll get rid of some of that clear glass. And keep trying to pull it down so we can taper it to the color here. And I don't want just the bottom, so that's why I got to make sure that the heat is getting into about half the balloon, because I want to be able to pull all of it down, or else it'll look weird. It'll look like a beach ball with a little pointy thing on the bottom instead of an upside down water drop, which is basically what the shape of a hot air balloon is an upside down water drop. I'm getting closer. Color is about to come down with that clear glass there. Still just clear glass though. All right, now we're at the point where that color is going to start getting pulled down with it. As you can see, still clear glass towards that bottom, but I got to get all that color down. We're almost there. And I do believe my wife is awake, so maybe our son's awake, maybe our daughter's awake. I don't know. I'll find out soon enough here. All right, now I'm grabbing a hold of that color and making sure that I'm pulling it down into that taper here. All right, we're really close to being done with this one here, guys. So thank you again. I believe your name is Joel, if I'm not mistaken, the owner of Woolley. Thank you for entrusting me to replicate your balloon here, for giving me this challenge. Even though it's a straight line, sometimes the straighter lines are harder to do. So this was a challenge. even though it's just a simple straight line on the balloon. So thank you, I appreciate it. All right, so now we've pretty much got all of that color down to the bottom, tapered all the way down. And then I'm going to add a little bit of clear and add that basket, the gondola. Right now I'm just heating up right here where that taper kind of pulls from the balloon. And we're going to try to just pull it a little bit just to get a little bit better of a taper here. And bring that black down a little bit more, get rid of some of that clear glass on the tip. This may be the last pull, we'll see. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So then I'll pull this off here on the bottom. That's going to be all black to the bottom now. I gotta make sure I pull off enough. And like I said, we'll add that clear glass right underneath to give it like a negative space to where all the cables are hanging. It always looks like the basket's like just not hanging onto anything, just floating directly under the balloon. So we're gonna kind of mimic that look there. Add a little bit of clear glass. And as you can see, these are all done handmade, one at a time, one of a kind. Every single one is different. No two are alike. They may look the same. They may look almost identical, but they're never identical at all because they're all made by hand, one at a time. And then we get the caramel or butterscotch is what I like to use. And we're going to add that to the bottom for the gondola, for the basket of the balloon. We're almost done here. Add that to the bottom, and it's just a little bit because the basket is very tiny compared to the rest of the balloon. Very tiny. It doesn't look like this one here was a big old basket. You know, like in that movie Up, you could definitely not carry a house underneath a balloon like that, or many balloons. All right, so now that's done. You can see that beautiful stripe in there, and it's nice and I would say perfect. We're gonna heat up this, grab a hold, and snap it off. Clean up the punchy mark on the loop, and we're gonna call it a day, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching me remake Woolley, the RC hot air balloon. Hopefully I'll be able to meet Woolley and the pilot in person, Joel, for next Balloon Fiesta. I don't know if he flies Balloon Fiesta or not, but there it is, Joel. It's hard to give you the proper angle. I don't want to drop it. I'm going to drop it in the kiln right now, though. And we're going to call it a day. Hold on one second. All right, that's in the kiln, safely in the kiln. So if you would like this one too, Joel, I'll hook you up at a good deal. I'll message you here, and we'll come to a good, reasonable price there. But thank you so much for tuning in and watching, guys. If you guys want any glass balloons made, replicate it for you. They start at 40 and up. The basic, simple ones like these here, I can get these to you at wholesale, and they retail at $20 each. But they can easily sell for 30 bucks, $40 all by themselves without being replicated. You could probably purchase replica balloons and then sell them for $80 and double your money, and be able to sell them to individuals if you wanted to do that as well. That's another opportunity there. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and watching. I'm Dan the Glass Man. It's been an hour and a half. I was hoping to get this done within the hour, but that's what happens sometimes. You've been watching The Glass Man's World. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'm going to be pushing hit that like button this year. So we're going to try to get our algorithms up and try to get more viewership. And also that way we can do some more Gardenia glass giveaways very soon. So look for those. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good day. I'm out.